Hello there folks, Andrew Griffiths here, how you doing? Okay, have you got a 100-year plan? You haven't? Okay, well clearly you're not overly optimistic about the next 100 years. Now, many of you have seen me speak, many of you have probably read the story that I have about when I first started to work for a Japanese shipping company called NYK. Many years ago. I started work there as a commercial diver and ended up in sales and marketing. But when I moved from being out on the tools under the water to joining that company in their I guess management kind of side of things there, I was given a brochure, and this brochure was their 100-year plan for this company, a 100-year strategy. At the time, I thought it was all just, you know, fluff and bubbles, a nice airy kind of motherhood kind of brochure about we will sail the seas and we will ship and do this. It was nothing like that at all. It was actually one of the most incredible documents I think I'd ever seen, where they as a company had looked long and hard about all of the things that could negatively impact that business over the coming 100 years. And that was things like political turmoil, nuclear disaster, environmental disasters, economic issues, you know, things like saying, well, the world's going to stop using oil, moving to renewables. We make 75% of our revenue out of shipping oil around the world. That's a potential problem. Japan, it's in a politically sensitive area. It has natural disasters. All of these kind of things, pandemics, they'd even written about in there. It was an extraordinary document. But at the time, you're looking at it and going, wow, these people have thought 100 years into the future about all of the issues that could affect that company. So it was really, you know, what are the challenges that we could face? And I thought, wow, okay, yeah, you know, you point them out. But the true genius of this particular document was not just in identifying what the potential, you know, company changing things could be, but to have the philosophy saying, okay, our culture has to be, what will we do if this happens to make sure that our company doesn't survive, but it actually comes out better, stronger, and better able to thrive in the new environment. So if there was major economic change, like the world running out of oil, how do we adapt and evolve to make sure that we come out better by facing this problem? Everything was about issue, opportunity, stronger. Issue, opportunity, stronger. Issue, opportunity, stronger. And that's what they did. If fuel runs out, what's the best thing to ship around the world? Human beings. They started cruise line, Crystal Cruises. Everything was in there, and it was. Now reflecting back on it, for me, that was many years ago that I got that, 1990. So, you know, you're talking 35 years ago that I got that document. But I remember and think about it often because I look back and go, everything that I remember reading in that has come to fruition. From bird flu to COVID to Gulf Wars to September 11 to renewables to, you know, political turmoil, the nuclear meltdown in Japan, everything has come true. And go, wow, that's pretty amazing. But what the big thing about that document, that strategy, that thinking did was it created a culture within NYK, the shipping company, of the almost excitement about a problem. We've got this problem. Now, if this was in a warehouse, this is a problem. How do I create this now and turn this into an opportunity that makes us better, stronger, more able to survive in the new world? Everything from the micro details of fixing something in a workshop through to the future direction of the company. Our 100-year plan became a strategy for every employee in the business that clearly wasn't going to be there for 100 years. And I think that's the value to me of having a 100-year strategy, is not that, you know, Andrew Griffiths, me having a 100-year strategy is extremely optimistic at this stage of the game, but it's what am I going to do to make sure my business is still around in 100 years? What are the things that have to change? What's the philosophy that it has to have? And that's where the magic lay in this. You know, not in identifying the issues, that all sounds clever, not even identifying what we'll do to survive them, and not only going, well, how are we going to come out better, but that whole kind of piece about going, right, you know, this is what our culture has become now. I saw that again in another, place in Japan that I've spoken about, another company there, which was set up alongside of Toyota. And this company supplied parts. And when Toyota started, initially they started by supplying parts for sewing machines, which is what Toyota used to make. Then as Toyota started to make cars, this company started to make parts for cars. Then as Toyota got into boats and even now satellites, this company has kind of just simply mirrored Toyota. The co-founders of both of those were friends. But what's really interesting, I met the grandson from this company in Japan a few years back, and through an interpreter I was asking him how have they managed to really survive and thrive. They have 10,000 employees, and it's a huge kind of a business. And he said that his grandfather, when he founded the company, started something that they still continue to this day. And every Thursday, 3 staff members are picked randomly from out the company, and their job is to literally go into a room and spend 2 or 3 hours and just to ask the question, what are we going to sell when people no longer want to buy what we're selling today? And so they have this, the byproduct of that is this culture of constant and never-ending adaptation and evolution. They are always looking to say, well, we've got this set of skills, we've got this knowledge, we've got this expertise, we've got this experience. How do we use that for the next product? How do we make sure that we're going to stay relevant with our customers? And of course, what I talk about a lot, customer proximity. Okay, adapt and evolve all the time. This is an extraordinary way of thinking. So their culture came from that question about longevity. We live in a world that's really fast and everything is changing so quickly, etc. The idea of saying, well, let's have a 100-year plan feels like, wow, okay, we want to build, sell, make $1 billion in a week, and of course it doesn't happen that way. Sorry, I thought I was getting attacked by a shark there. But we need a deeper underlying culture. We need a culture that's strong, one that's going to help us to build something longer. So I'm developing my 100-year plan. I'm looking at that and going, well, how do I want my business to be around in 100 years? And right at the moment, it won't be. When I cark it, my business will be gone, right? So I've got to say, well, okay, how do I make that, look longer? How do I make that be around for longer? What's the culture I need right now to do that, whether I'm here or not? So there's a whole lot more to it. And again, this is one of those topics I'm going to talk about a lot more. And I might even write a book about this, which is the value of your 100-year plan. And it's initially on the surface sounds kind of crazy, but the companies that I've seen that have developed that, and this is becoming a bit of a thing around the world, that the value of the 100-year plan is to embed a culture that will survive all of the ups and downs, all of the upheavals, etc. Another great example of this is the Patagonia culture. If you look at Patagonia, that organization will be here long after the founder is gone, because of that embedded culture is about how do we save the world in 100 years? How will we make sure that the world is in a better place then than it is today? What's driving us? And everything in that company is driven by that. So anyway, do your 100-year plan, folks. Watch this space. You're going to hear more and more and more from me around this as a concept, as a strategy, and as a way, regardless of whether you're running a hot dog stand in New York or whether you're running, a multi-billion-dollar company in Hobart. All right, thanks guys. See ya.